Welcome to Breaking the Silence. You have a voice. I am your host, Lady V, and we have a really great topic tonight. I always listen in relationships where people get married or they get remarried or they break up, and they always talk about baby mama drama and how, the woman controls the relationship with the father. So, it kind of makes it hard for the dads to spend time with their children because the mom is always doing something, saying something, because that's where the control factor is. And so we want to talk about it today. We want to talk about drama mama. Is it really about the kids? So before we talk about it, though, we want to welcome all of our viewers on. We want to welcome Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everybody in the Caribbeans. We want to welcome everybody to the show. And before we get started, I want to introduce our other host. We have Dr. Yvonne Bennett on today. How you doing today, Dr. Bennett?
I'm doing well, except for the pain that's going from my jaw to my head.
Ooh. Oh no, how we doing with that?
I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. Well, you gotta take care of that. You gotta make sure you don't let it go.
Yeah, I'm taking antibiotics. That's what I'm doing with this tooth thing.
Okay. And we have Pastor Melanie Butler. How you doing, Pastor Mel?
Hello. It's good to be here. Missed y'all last week.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you had some fun with my grandbaby. I had my new grandbaby come, but you had the 5-year-old. How did that go? You and Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, he is brilliant. Do you hear me? He
Absolutely
is smart. Oh my God. So no, he was a joy. And I think he enjoyed himself on Sunday and on Monday. Yeah. He is so
well, thank you for taking care of you playing grandma. What do you call it on the sneak? You really playing grandma. You know that, right? But that's cool. And Dr. Isaac, how you doing in your car with no French fries? Thank God.
French fries. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, hello, how you doing? It's great to be here today. Great to be here.
All right. I saw you did some cycling this past weekend on your motorcycle finally.
Yes, yesterday I was up in the mountains of Virginia yesterday.
All right. I saw that. All right, cool. And Silvadia, what's going on, girl?
Hey, Lady V, nothing much. Excited about today's topic.
All right, I knew you would be. I'm sure everybody is ready to roll. And our special guest, we have Reverend J. How's it going, Reverend J? You're on the mute.
Can't hear you.
Everything's going well. I'm glad to be back.
Good. I had the chance to check your show out on last Friday. It was really good. Very informative.
Oh, thank you. Well, I can't wait till this week. I'm having you on, so it's gonna be very exciting.
Look, I felt empowered. I was like, I can learn how to be an FBI agent.
I know, right? I wish I'd have met about 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was a really good show. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dive into the show. Drama Mama. I can say that for me, being in the situation where I see a lot of times women use that as a tool to get back at the dad. I can say that I see that more than I don't see it. And I don't believe that it's fair to the children. I don't think that it has anything to do with the children, but a lot of times women use that as a tool and they don't look at the long-term effects of how it affects the children. So they just do it, and they're not looking at the repercussions of it when they keep their children from the father because of whatever drama they're having in their life.
That's true.
I know that being in relationships, that was one of the things that I kind of geared away from. I would always ask a guy, well, do you have kids? Because I said I would never get with a guy who had children for that reason. You feel me, Reverend J? I was like, no, I'm not doing it because I'm not going to deal with the baby mama drama. I'm just not. And I always felt like it's coming. It is coming. As soon as she find out you got somebody else in your life, everything is good until you bring that person. And now here it comes. And then the guy is blindsided because he's like, well, I never had no problem co-parenting. I never had a problem with this with her. And then you brought somebody in your life, and here it comes. And now the control, the manipulation, can't see the children, the whole 9 yards. It takes place. Why are you laughing, Reverend J?
No, well, I never been through it, but I know a lot of people that had that same experience. That once they break up with their baby mama, and they start dating someone else, that baby mama just gets real vindictive, and use that child as a pawn, to inflict some, I guess, try to get back at them. So.
But why is that? Like, why is it that women can't separate the two? Like, they don't understand that being the parent has nothing to do with the relationship.
Because there are times where the two exes, what in some situations, what actually happens is that the woman is hopeful that who she is pregnant and have a baby by, that they will create a family, they will get married and live happily after. But when that does not happen, that can be and he finds someone else, that can be devastated to the woman who is carrying his child. Because when a woman carries a man child, that's it's like, oh my God, that's my bundle of joy. That's something that him and I created. And so normally in most situations when a woman is pregnant, that's happily ever after. We're gonna live, the ideal family, a family of 4, white picket fence, a house, this is going to be our perfect family. And then when it's not, that can be devastating. And that's when the woman who is the baby mama can end up bringing, so it's not me. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to make you pay, which is not fair to the child, but because they have the child and I'm going to say somewhat are in control, unless you go to court and you have joint custody. That's how it is sometimes.
I think I've never had baby mama drama. Once I was gone, I'm one of those people who believe an ex is an ex for a reason. So
Right.
I do not lead on. I don't get me wrong. Anybody I've dated or had a child with in my past, we are cool people, but they're not on the top of my list to call to see how they doing. That's my past. It's my past. I have a total of 3 children. Both fathers, we get along fine, but one is married, one I don't know what he's doing. That ain't my business no more. My kids are grown. Even when they were younger, it wasn't any now they had baby mama drama, but I was not one of the females that had that issue. I learned my lesson by being in a relationship. It didn't work out, so we're gonna keep it moving. Did they pay child support? Yes. Was it enough? I'm gonna say no, but I'm also the type of woman who I've always worked several jobs to make sure my household was together. Child support, if you live in life correctly and responsible, you already know child support is not enough money, so you need to hold your own. But I think a lot of times I do put men at fault at some situations, meaning you need to speak up and say this is over. You don't need to lead. They don't need no hope or any kind of space in there, the wiggle room to have hope. Maybe if I do X, Y, and Z, this may happen. I know some men, which I think this is a great deal. Once they marry, remarry, or get in a new relationship and they have younger children, they have a conversation with both women, a sit down conversation. Hey, when it's my time to get the child, Susan Sue is going to meet you and pick them up. They try to do less contact as possible, because if you got one of them old skis and females, she's going to do whatever she can to try to mess up your new relationship. So I think if a lot of men put their foot down and give them less contact, it'll be a better situation. And don't be afraid to go to court.
Right.
Don't be scared of child support.
But you know what? Even when a man puts his foot down, sometimes women think that they can still persuade the man
Yeah.
to be, I have a child with him. You don't have a child with him. I have something you don't have. And so there's sometimes that they still, I'm going to say, leave the woman in her mind, leaves the door open and has hope that maybe they'll break up, or if I interject myself a little bit more, you know, that maybe this can drive a wedge between them, and then he'll come back to me. And then sometimes it doesn't. But that's where I feel like, and Sister Silvadia, your situation and with you, if more women were like that, you know, because there's no strings attached. For your situation, it was over. It was over. You're an
Yeah.
ex. Some people don't believe in that.
That's right.
Because they still have ties to that relationship. They still have a piece of it. But I believe the same thing as you. When you're an ex, you're an ex. I'm not looking back. You're, like you said, there's an ex. You're an ex for a reason.
That's right.
Yeah, but the thing is, how do you tie the ex in to the children? Because even though I understand that there is an ex, the thing is, when you have, because now we're talking about, is it about the children? A lot of times we do have that concept. Okay, if you're an ex, you're ex. But if you're a woman that gets with a man and he has children, whether they're in the house or they're grown, the bottom line is a blended family is a blended family, and
Correct.
they have children. So to a certain degree, those people have to talk. Now,
Yeah.
I believe this. However you as a couple were in your marriage, if there was drama, a lot of drama, that drama is gonna spill over into the ex relationship. So now you have to decide how you're going to set boundaries in this ex relationship, because drama is drama. And if you was drama queen in the relationship, then you're a drama queen outside of the relationship. So now there has to be some discussions. There has to be maybe the court does have to be specific in how the visitation is.
And that's when I think
normal people, if you okay, it ain't, a man should never have to fight for what is his. That's the first thing. If he is the child's father, he should be able to freely, hey, pick up the phone. I want to get the kids. I want to be able to visit. I want to be able to visit when I want to visit. I want to be able to be a part of the child's life. But you as the woman have to be open-minded, and you have to be agreeable to be able to do that. It's a lot of times men will pull away because it's so much drama that comes along with it, especially when a new person comes on the scene. And that's not fair, because now you're saying that person doesn't have a right to move on with his life.
And that's what you just described is why I think men need to get to know the laws when it comes to the courts in that situation. Let the court fight your battle, because you are not win with that type of female.
No.
I had baby mama drama with my daughter's mom, and just like someone said, it was after I got married that she decided to act a fool for no reason at all. She never lacked anything. It was simply the fact of he has truly moved on, and she tried to use our child against me, and she even hindered uh, visitations once I left the city that we were in. Uh, so, and it was frustrating to me. And no matter what I said, I was like, by you doing this, it's not benefiting us. It's hurting our child because she
Yeah.
doesn't get to spend that quality time with me. No matter how many times that I said that, and no matter how many times that I expressed that to her, it fell on deaf ears because the fact that I also feel that she knew that our child would be in a better environment by staying with me. Uh,
Mm.
and I really think that that was the biggest thing. And I felt that, and I feel that she would have, that if our daughter had a choice to say, I want to live with my dad or I want to stay with my mom, she had more opportunities with me than she did with her mom. And it
Mhm.
has nothing to do with lifestyle. For me, it's all about the choices that you make in in life. It's just the fact I chose a direction in my life that I wanted to go, and I chose a path that I wanted to be in. And I think that because of that, she felt that she would be slighted, or felt that our child would choose me over her, and and it created drama. And the amazing thing is that even after our child that relationship is only because the mother broke a cycle that should not have been broken.
I I don't know. I think that, and I want to read something that
The
um
Vola.
said. She said people need to set boundaries and set ground rules in the beginning. Stop blaming women for being emotional when feeling like she is being replaced. Clear communication from the start ensures these issues do not happen. Court order and child support and visitation orders are followed to the letter, leaves little room for drama. Respect goes a long way. Men cannot bring their child every new in they cannot bring their child every new person in their life. When things become serious as a matter of respect, the man needs to let I'm not sure what that other word is,
But
but
one, but that's in a perfect world. You know,
Yeah.
okay, so
It's
I'm only
the
gonna talk
same
about me.
woman.
I'm only gonna talk about me. And Pastor Mill can actually validate this. My daughter wanted for nothing.
Correct.
Wanted for nothing. The moment when her mother decided to go and put me on child support, I asked her why. Because I'm going to take care of my child. Matter of fact, I already know that I give you more than I should give you all already. So why would you go do that? Ironically, the court gave her less than what I was giving her. Gave her less than what I was already giving her. So whenever that she couldn't pay a utility bill or she could not pay her rent, I paid it for her because that's where
Mm.
my daughter is. That's where my child is living at, right? So, and whenever she needed money, I gave it along with other things. But the moment that she took me to court and the court gave her less than what I was giving, I actually told her, I said, because you did that, then I no longer would do the additional stuff that I do for you because now you getting this money from me every single month. And so every time that she went to try to have it increase, I actually fought it. And I won every time because I could prove that she wasn't doing anything with her life to better her life. So
Mm.
I always made sure that my duck was enrolled. And this is where I think that, Savannah, that you said it, is that you have to know the court system. The court system need to know you too. They also need to know you. They also need to know that you are a upstanding uh, parent, so that whenever that the mother comes along, you are able to refute anything that she tries to say about you.
well, unfortunately, everybody is not in that position to be able to do that. When we talk about drama mama, the reality is, whether we like the terminology or not,
Right.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
We would like to say that all women follow the rules. We would like to say that all men are granted the court support or whatever. But in a lot of cases, men are exempt from being with their children because there is so much drama with the mother. And you have had men that have gone to court, they have fought for their rights, they have gone and they have gone to the extent of, chasing these kids around the earth. But the bottom line is you do have a lot of cases where, I'm not saying all women are that way. I am
Right.
saying that the topic today is drama mama, because you do have a lot of men that have missed out. Now, here's the thing. Again, a lot of times women that when if the relationship that they were in, it was controlled. A lot of times once the divorce happens, it's still controlled. They feel as though I'm going to tell you when, and especially if there's a new person in their life. I don't care if he has 1, 2, 3 girlfriends. That has nothing to do with him being a parent. That is the bottom line. Whether he made $10 an hour or he made $10,000 an hour, that does not exempt. But you have a lot of women that control
Say
that
yes.
situation, and that's just the way it is. So again, I know that we don't like to say baby mama drama, but a lot of men have missed out on their children growing up because it wasn't about the children, it was about the control that the woman had, because the children, the court most likely granted the mom to be the custodial. I'm just going to say, me personally, this is just me. Y'all hate me, call me all kinds of names. I don't really care. It's my show. But here we go. I feel that in a lot of situations, the court needs to start granting men the custodial custody of the child. I'm just going to say it. I
I
believe
agree.
that a lot of children have grown up, especially boys, and they have grown up in certain situations without their father in their life because they got these controlling moms. And a lot of times women need to step aside and let the dads have the boys, especially, and just parent their sons. They can parent their daughters too, but you need to make sure that their sons are in their life, because one thing that we cannot do, we cannot teach a boy how to be a man. And that's where a lot of these kids, these boys, they're resenting their fathers because we don't know how to step aside and we don't know how to let them raise their sons. I said
Say
it.
And with that being said, we want to make sure we're clear that that does not mean
it's
just
everybody.
it does not mean that when a man is raising a young man, a boy, that doesn't mean just to get on to him about the things he's doing wrong. We're talking about great leadership for this young
Yes.
boy. And V, you're totally right. But what's her name? The young lady in the chat.
It it too.
So baby mama, that is a term used in regards to women that we're talking about today. Because me, as the mother that I am, my children's fathers have never called me a baby mama. I've always been my children's mother,
Right.
because the way I carry myself as a mother. That baby mama stuff, baby mama drama, that's where it came from. It's the way you act, you carry yourself as a mom,
Yep.
and as that man's children's mother. It's no different than any other label that we as women, we start showing our butts and we get some type of label that we don't like in regards to when people describe us. So you can't get mad about that baby mama mess there. But speaking of women, I'm gonna let Pastor Mel, I'm gonna say this and let Pastor Mel go. Right to this day, I'm not gonna say which, because Isaac, he'll call out his baby mama. So I ain't gonna let y'all know which one of mine I'm talking about. But one of my children, other parents is married, and I told that wife, I said, that other baby mama, she gonna outweight you. This is what I meant by that. She still want
Mm-hmm.
so bad, and we're talking about now, our children are 20 and 30 some years old. I said, I guarantee she gonna outweight you. What I meant by that, she gonna wait till your marriage crumble, and she gonna be there to pick that back up. That's how minded this woman is. She was a
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason. He was the other part that I told him.
Uh-oh.
She didn't got stuck.
She
If you
froze.
want to, if you against the father, because you still years ago. I didn't have baby mama drama, but we had a sit down conversation. She wanted to use, you're not going to be able to see your child X, Y, and Z. I told him, okay, this is the way we're going to do this. Let's take her to court. We're going to give visitation. Anyway, it didn't work out like that. The end of the day, he ended up paying rent and everything else behind my back, and the case is closed because I'm not with him today. So that's why I said I didn't have baby mama drama, because I nipped it in the bud. But
Right.
yeah,
Well, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
fine.
And
I'm
can
sorry.
can I
I?
address this? So, Devola, you were saying most single parents are women. In some situations, and I cannot speak statistically. However, in some situations, yes, this is true. However, you do have men who want to take the children, but the mother refuses to give the baby up.
Yes.
So I'm going to say in some situations, it is by choice. And it does seem like it's more single women or mothers than it is men. Okay. And sometimes it's not by choice. Okay. Because you have a lot of men who want to raise their children, who want to be of their children's lives. But the mother, here it is, the baby mama, if he doesn't do exactly what he wants her to do, then guess what? I'm going to punish you. And no, you can't A, B, C, D. And then you made the comment about the men not paying child support. Well, if you take them to court, and most do not receive any support from the other parent. Well, if you have a court order in place and he's supposed to pay child support, it's up to that mother to make sure it's enforced. If it's a court order and he's supposed to pay child support and he is not, that's on the fault of the mother. Because if the court says you're going to pay X amount and then the mom is not getting it, all she has to do is go back to court and say, hey, he's not paying it. Because once he is failure to pay, there are repercussions for that man. So for most of them not paying, there is something in place
Going to go.
for that.
I don't like that. I don't
They
think
lock you up. Unfortunately,
I want to say
Yeah.
something. Go ahead.
yeah. Unfortunately, I agree. I don't think that should be the solution of, like, if a person's not paying, lock them up, because if you're in jail, you still can't work and still can't provide for that child.
But there are other choices that they can get. One, it's the driver's license. Two, it's the income tax. And then three, I think the last choice is a lockup. But if they have an opportunity to pay child support and they choose not to, this is what I'm saying. I think it should be repercussion. Look, hey, you need to pay, even if whatever you can. But there are some times where the man is like, I'm not giving her money because I don't know what she's doing with it. Well, it's not your job to find out what she's doing with it. He has the child most of the time. So most of the courts, they look at whatever she feels is feasible to take care of that child. Then she has the right to use the money, as towards that child.
Now, also, we must agree that sometimes the court makes the person paying child support more than what the child is needed. And that's the reality. Sometimes men, they go to court and they get dragged through the court system financially. And it's unfair. It's unfair. And I agree. I'm all about that. If a man have a child and a man and a woman can't be together, that man should still take care of responsibilities. But unfortunately, if we go through the court system, sometimes the men get to the worst end of the stick in some cases.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something Lady V said. She feels that the court should step up and give dads, the father, the custodial right to be the main parent. And then Pastor Mel said there are some men that want to be that custodial parent. They want to be that parent to take their child. And there's a lot of drama all up in that. Now, I'm gonna put the two of them together. If a man wants to have his child and he has someone else in his life, he should step up and make her aware of that. Now, if you can't go along with that, then you're not the one, because this is my child and I'm going to fight for my child so I could be the person that raises my child in this home, and she can be the visiting parent. A lot of men will not do that. A lot of men will not. They will not step up and go into that woman's face and say exactly what I just said. And then you have the men. Sometimes there are some men that don't want that responsibility because they start counting up the costs. I would just rather pay child support. There's more than child support.
Exactly.
You have to pay attention. You have to get up with the child and be at the school with the child and make sure the child. So a lot of men, and I have to say that because I know a lot of them, they do not want that responsibility. Now, there are some that do, but the ones that do need to step up and say, I want to raise my child. And if you're not in agreement, then you're not the one.
Yeah.
Agree. I also.
Wait a minute, Mister. I'm sorry. Real quick. Davola, thank you so much, because remember I said I don't know what the stats are. Well, Sister Girl pulled out the stats. So she said to 2021 U.S. Census Bureau, 4 out of about 11 million single parent families with children under the age of 18, nearly 80% were headed by single mothers. So the stats, she backed it up. What she said, of all single parent families in the U.S., single mothers make up the majority. About 4 out of 10 children were born to unwed mothers. March 12th, 2022. So thank you for that information. So yes, now we can say, yes, most of the homes is single parent mothers.
Right. But that's
You use the term baby mama drama. A lot of those baby mamas wish that that father would take the child.
But also this. Also,
the name of the show is Drama Mama. So I don't disagree because these are the stats.
Right.
But here's the thing. It doesn't tell us why. Now, when we look at just the communities that we all live in, the relationships that we all experience, come on, ladies. No, this is my thing. If we're gonna talk, we're gonna keep it real, because even we're talking about drama mama outside of the home, but when a drama mama's in the home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the truth. We have the mindset that we can do everything, no matter what. And I want to read something that Jennifer said that is so true. This is it right here. Women need to acknowledge and recognize that there's a difference in roles. Just because a man is a horrible lover, boyfriend, husband, does not make him a horrible father. And that is the problem. We think that just because it ain't working in the relationship with us, on now, that the father, that it discredits him as being a dad, and it doesn't. Just because the relationship don't work, between two people, we're not getting along. It don't have anything to do with him. But in your average household, when we get mad at whoever, whatever label he's in, now it goes to, no, you're not going to tell me what to do with mine. You're not going to walk out with my kid. No, these are my kids. These are my kids. No, you asked me if I could dad this. That's how it is.
Yep.
Now we
I
know
know, Yvonne, also this. We also have to keep this in mind. We have to keep this in mind. It wasn't until recently, I'll say probably within the last 10 years, the court system was always favorable towards the mother,
Yes.
regardless anyway.
Mhm.
So you have to keep that in mind. And I like what V, what you said is that those are the stats, yes, but we don't know the full circumstances behind those stats or what caused that, and which is a very valid point. So I also want to say is that we're not here to bash women. We're stating
Right.
facts. We
Yeah.
are stating facts, and then these facts are not based on anybody's race, because everybody can be a
Yeah.
baby mama drama. Because I've seen all races be
All
a
races.
baby mama drama. Okay, so yes, we do understand that there's that there's baby drama daddies too. Trust me, we do
Yes.
understand that.
Yes.
Yes.
So, but from experience, when there is no need for there to be any drama, women have created drama and made it difficult for the father. And when that happens, even when a father that's fighting for his child, because because the mother is causing so much drama, he could easily just walk away. And at times for him, he started thinking that it's just better for me just to pay child support and not even deal with it. And because of the amount of unnecessary drama that is being caused by the mother for no reason at all, and mostly it is because of the fact that he's entered into another relationship. And
Yeah.
even in cases where you go and you try to have the adult conversation, where you try to have the adult talks, to where you try to come to a a a place of understanding and a reason, for some reason that baby mama still find ways to throw to throw knives when there's no need for you to actually do that. uh so I just want to say is that just what Jennifer said, as adults we should be able to come to the table and say, look, our relationship did not work,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
the relationship you have with our child, you
Right.
have you have you have a relationship with our child. I have a relationship with our
Right.
child. What
Right.
we cannot allow our child to do is to play both of us.
That's
We
right.
have to be in agreement. So if you ever feel that the child said that, well, my dad said this or what my mom said this, don't worry, let me call them.
Right.
Right.
That's how you, but you have to get to a point to where you get there. But overall, the overall virtue of it is that a lot of drama has been caused by women when there was no need for drama to be caused.
And that's true.
Said that because and Pastor has said this across the pulpit, because then I go back to it where the woman will bring the child in, can bring the child in between a relationship, because I remember a time when I was going to leave, and and this is it, I told him, when you get back, now listen to this, I said, me and my son, we won't be here, we're gonna be gone, not our son, but
Yes.
I took ownership, because so that's why I can identify with that, because things, and I'm agreeing with what Jennifer said, because I was like, look, I ain't putting up with it, I'm out, I'm taking me and my child and we out of here, not our child. But and that is true, where the father, just because things don't work out with the mother and the father, it does not prevent that man from being a good father, because that is his child.
And here's the thing, he does not have to be the father that you want him to be. See,
Right.
that's the thing that
Yes.
we miss. We
Right.
want men
Right.
to father
Yes.
like we mother. And
Right.
Right.
this is two totally different dynamics of a conversation. I can say for me that I've learned so much in growing up in a two-parent household. But there was things that I learned from my mom from a mother's perspective, and there's things that I learned from my dad from a father's perspective that my mom couldn't rightfully so identify with or teach me like my father. And the same thing with my father as my mother. So if you didn't, like, when you grow up in a two-parent household, you understand the importance of a father in your life, because there are certain things that you need in your life from your dad. There are validations that a father gives. There's a settling in your at you as a, now I'm just talking about as a woman, that your father gives you, not your mother. Your father gives you. Your father gives that seal of approval of who you are, and self-esteem. And so now, am I saying that a mom can't do that? No, I'm not. But the discreditation of who fathers are a lot of times has to stop, because now let's talk about the second part of this. How does it affect the children? See, I'm gonna tell you something. I couldn't go out and cut the fool. I couldn't be an emotional I couldn't be an emotional girl, right, Mom? I couldn't, because my dad told me, you don't go out there and misrepresent who we are. You don't get to go. You don't get to go out there and yell and scream, cuss and fuss, act a fool on the church bus rides. Now, some did. I wasn't allowed to do that. I know one time, and I don't know if Mom remember, I kind of went off on a sister at the church.
Mhm.
Because she said something about my mom. And I went off. My mom was like, let's go. Because you know, Mom, she ride or die. She is. She's like, no, you're not going to go off on my daughter. But my dad, he was like, hold up. We don't do that. That is not what we do. And honestly, a lot of things that I saw other girls who did that didn't have their dad in their life, I didn't do that, because I had such a regard for the things that my dad said that I was. He assured me, you're a lady. You're a lady first. You use your nice words. You don't go out there and act a fool and cuss and fuss and fight. And I remember those things that my dad taught me, even how a guy was supposed to treat me. So it's certain things that a lot of times women are so disgruntled because they didn't get that validation, and they think they don't need it. They think that to this day, I don't need validation from a man. But men bring validation to their children's lives. That is just the bottom line.
I just want to share something that was shared I heard years ago from my dad. Is that the reality is that the child is actually not the mother's but the father's biologically. The child belongs to the man. So so the children need something from that man that the mothers cannot give, no matter how great of a mom you are.
That is
You know,
so true.
so you don't know. So if it don't work out between you and him, you must understand those children still need their father, because the children is actually theirs. And I believe if our society had a thought process like that, we can make the relationship more equal. Because right now, we say, "Oh, the children is the moms," and the mom says, "These are my kids." And the father says, "Oh yes, they're your kids. You keep them. I just pay the money." But again, like somebody said earlier, that we now should start shifting more of the ownership back onto the father. It says, "No, fuck that. These are your children. You need to step up, and you need to whether you're with the woman or not, you need to call the children. You need to visit children. You need to play a real big active role. Don't just give your money. Give them your time."
Yeah,
That should be the punishment.
spend time with them. Yeah, and spend time with them. And I think one of the effects, reason of how it affects children and why, is because a lot of relationships, when they break up, a lot of times the mother starts bashing the dad.
The dad.
And that's not good. That is not good, because now a child grows up, especially a female child, she grows up and she thinks all men are no good.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, she's in a whole nother realm. And the dad comes to visit or whatever, and he's been put down so until the child has to grow up to see for themselves. But the root, but the seed has already been planted.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. My son, he's my oldest boy, he's 32 years old. Now, I've never kept my children's father away from them at all. My son father, he was in and out. He wasn't a stable father. Giving an example, he has a total, I think it's 12 or 14 children total today. So but I never kept my baby away from him. So anyway, he gets to college, and for what with him in the same college that his father lived, the same city his father lives in, he went to college in, which is Houston, Texas. And I remember my son calling me one day, and it still haunts him to this day. It makes him angry. He thought, "Oh, I'm close to my dad. We're gonna get this bond and all this." So my son calls his father and say, "Hey, can you buy me some groceries?" He told my son is in college now. So he tells my son, "No, you're a grown man. You buy your own groceries." Now he in college now. So that right there, what broke the camel's back. My son never respected his father. He respects him, but what he thought he could have had with his father, he no longer wanted.
Yeah.
And then that was the moment, because again, I never talked negative against my children's father, period. But at that moment, it was like he realized everything that mom has did over time from day one. So sometimes I say that to say this, sometimes the father actions put that negativity on his back.
Agree.
Bingo.
That's very true.
I like the comment that Jennifer made. If fathers were not important, then back during slavery, black men wouldn't have been separated immediately from their families, and that is so true. That is so true. And I believe that a lot of that stems from that, because they knew the importance of the head of the home. And regardless of whether we like it or not, the man is the head of the home. He
That's
sets that is not going to go away. So that's why we can't disregard the father, because he still has a mandate to take care of what he has been given, regardless of whether we like it or not. Our voice sometimes is not the most important voice that needs to be heard in our children's life.
That's right. That's right. And we have to allow them to walk in their position.
Yes.
We have to allow them to, just because they don't do something the way we do it, it's okay. It's okay. It really is okay.
Right. As long as he is taking care of that child and showing love and not being careless, let them be a father. But it's so true, because so many times if they're not doing it the way we think it should be done, then we want to step in and no, this is it's almost like, let me show you. You don't know what you're doing. Well, give him an opportunity, because that's just like we didn't get it right when we first had children.
Right.
You know, it was all by trial and error. And we took here it is. We took the time to figure it out. Now what women need to do is allow the man to take the time to figure it out. We need to take a step back and allow him to do it.
Yeah. But I want to say that the emotions of a woman is, and I can't say all women, but I'm gonna say for a lot of women, and especially in a lot of the environments where there are inner city children. Now I'm talking about experience. It is killing our kids, because the moms are so frustrated. They're so financially frustrated, and then they have children, and they're going off on their children, and that is not the way. When you're yelling and screaming at your children, and you're bashing your children's father, or you're bashing men, or your children hear every single thing that you say. And what happens is we wonder why our girls then pick the wrong guy, and our boys do what they do towards women, because they're hearing our voice, they're hearing Big Mama's voice, and everything that we're saying is being transferred into their minds of how things are supposed to be. We don't see that. We don't see that our emotions really govern every single thing in our homes. So when we say things, we so up here all the time, baby can't cry, baby can't say anything, because I went to the store and I saw a grandmom. She was a grandma, and she was literally just cussing her kids out, the grandbabies out. And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, my grandmama never cussed at me. That's the only thing I can think of. My grandmamas don't do that. But it's because we're so out of control sometimes of our emotions, because we're angry at whatever we're angry at for no reason. We never get those emotions together, and we take it out on our children and
Yes.
our children's children, and so forth and so on. So it just transfers emotions.
And that's true. And that's true, Lady V, because a lot of times people, mothers in particular, some mothers, they curse the children out, yell at the children, because they really want to yell at the person that they're with or not with anymore. And they take it out on the child. And it's not good. It's really not good. The child, has enough to grow up and understand, what's going to happen the next day.
Right.
They don't have the ability to process like that, and we're expecting the child to. Some mothers talk to their children like they're an adult. They're not an adult. They're a child, just like you were a child. They have to grow up and learn how to be obedient. They have to grow up and learn how not to mess up certain things, just like we did. So it's trial and error with them. And you tell them, stop. They have to determine in their mind what stop means. To them, I'm playing. That's what that means to them. But after a while, they'll get it. But a lot of children are damaged because of what their parent is going through or has been through, and it's not fair.
I want to respond to a comment that Derek Culver said. It says there's no manual in parenting, and I hear this all the time. And we need to stop using that as an excuse,
Right.
because so many other people have parent children before.
Yeah.
That if you don't know what you're doing, and these days you can go right on YouTube and get some parenting classes.
That's right.
You can go to your mama, your friend's mama. If you can find somebody that can be a good model for how you would like to see your children raised, and go to them. And I'm sure they'll be more than glad to share with you what you can do to properly raise your children. So I think, again, we need to stop using that excuse that there are no manuals in parenting, and start saying, okay, if there's no manual, let me go find somebody that did a good job at raising kids and do what they did. Because I've learned that's all successful people do. They study other successful people.
That's right.
And they do what other successful people do. So
I learned how to be a better mother than my mother, because I knew what I didn't like what my mama was
There
doing.
you go. There you go.
So, and go back to this part here, y'all, and our people, it ran me hotter than fish grease today. I'm country, but I'm in the dentist's office. She got 7 kids total, but I didn't know the amount of 7 kids. And to the end of my shift, my colleague told me she'll be bringing 3 more tomorrow. I said, 3 more of what? She said, kids. That's how bad them kids got on my nerves today. But my point is this right here. We have to stop blaming other people.
Yeah.
Stop blaming men and hold ourselves accountable as women, because there's no way she should have been continuing to have children. I'm not going to bring marriage in here, but yes, if you're going to be doing that, you do need a husband. You just making these babies with no help. She was in there by herself. I'm about to go crazy. Like, and my coworkers say, "Hey, I got it," because literally she could not make those kids sit down. We're talking about Pampers, all the way
Mm.
up to
Oh
the
wow.
age of 15 years old. So she's having them like this.
Woo.
And so my point is this right here. You work in the system because when I scanned everything, it was Medicaid. So that tells me you're working the system. And for me,
Mm.
that's a problem. And I'm gonna say it's a problem for me because I was on the system when I was younger with 3 kids, but the system was not enough. So my point is this: I got me a job, I got several jobs, and I got off the system. I gave my boy's father back his child support. You do the math. All those kids, I won't begin but $25 a month anyway. So you have that child support back, boo. But my point is this right here: you're gonna continue to have these kids and work. What you get food stamps, you get Medicaid, you get TANF, you name it. You could probably get in child support. You better be for 7 kids. But my point is this right here: stop blaming other people for your responsibility, because you can easily get those tubes tied. You can get on birth control. You name it. It's ridiculous. So yes, we have baby mamas out there, and then they're gonna
I'm
always
gonna,
sit there.
I'm gonna say this. It takes more than one person to properly raise a child.
Exactly.
Yes.
One, because when you have a child, is a mixture of 2 different personalities.
Yes.
So when you have one child, you may be able to manage one by yourself, but you start having 3, 4, 5, you're really not parenting anymore. You're letting them grow up and letting other things parent to them. So as we go in life, we got to understand that if we want to have children, make sure that you're in a relationship that is stable, that is going somewhere, and that you with somebody that's saying, you know what? Oh, we're gonna raise these children together. And y'all work hard to work on your relationship so you can stay together. Because sometimes, I think somebody put a post said that the devil is breaking up marriages, and I said sometimes it's not the devil, it's
You
people.
better say it. You better say it,
And
Rev.
I want
It's
to add,
true.
I want
It's
to add
true.
to that, Reverend J. I think that the thing is, and it goes back to I we say parenting doesn't come with the manual, but and it doesn't. We don't know, especially with our first child. I think that the thing is, we have a response. Such a great opportunity in this day and time called our cell phones, Google. We have books. I think it was Dr. Myron last week that said the only reason why relationships don't work is because we don't read, we don't get knowledge, we don't find out things. I was talking to I think it was Jennifer, and I said, if I knew all of the stuff that I know now about children, because I've learned so much just in my career field and raising children and how we to talk to children. See, one of the things with us is we think because grandmama did it, mama did it, it's okay for me to do it. You know, there's an old story that that about the husband whose wife had the ham, and he used to ask his wife, why do you cut the edges of the ham? And she said, because that's what my mama did. That's what my grandmama did. And he said, but I don't understand. That is ridiculous. You just messing up a whole ham. And so later on, he went to the grandmom and he said, Grandma, why do you cut the edges of the ham? And she said, baby, because back then we didn't have a pan big enough for the ham to fit in.
That's good.
We we have to learn behavior. Just because somebody did it and we learned from that, we learned so many things that was not good. It just wasn't.
Right.
And we have the opportunity to do better. We were taught, oh, well, you just go sit in the corner and be quiet and shut up. No, that's not right. It's so many things that we have learned that is just not right. It just isn't. And until we become intelligent enough, yes, are there some things that we learned that were good? Yes, it is. Do we still need to spank our children? Yes. But do we need to knock our kids upside the head? No. Do we need to cut our kids out? No. Do we need to yell at our children for every single thing? No, we don't need to do that. And the thing is, what we fail to realize is we damage our children's self-esteem, which is why a lot of our children have the issues that they have, because we failed to educate ourselves on how to be good parents and work together. Both parents have to be involved in the children's lives.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Right.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. And another thing that
men and women need to join together, and they need to stop with all of this drama, whether it's baby mama drama, daddy drama, or whatever. We need to stop bringing anybody and everybody into our children's lives. We need to stop making all these additional babies, because it takes money to take care of them, because the children are suffering. And it's not about us. It's about the children.
Yes.
Lady V,
I just want to say one thing. This and that is so true. Another thing that damages children, how they're suffering through all this drama. You have children raising children.
Yes,
absolutely.
And that child that is responsible for their siblings, that self-esteem is going down the drain, because eventually they come to grips with, I never had a childhood, I had to raise my siblings, and so forth and so on. So that's another way a child is damaged with all this drama going on.
True. Lady V, the young lady that said that men need to have a vasectomy, that's one of the problems now. I was talking about holding us as women accountable. Men can do what they want to do, but the woman with the 7 kids, that's her body. That's her responsibility. I did not see a father in there trying to help maintain all those kids in those chairs. So as a woman, we can cut down on baby mama drama by holding ourselves accountable, by taking control of, if I can tell you, at the 3rd child, I didn't see no husband in sight. I didn't see no extra income. Look, tie these two Dr. Kurt right now. I don't want no more children. I can't do this by myself.
Right.
So we don't have to hold ourselves accountable. And again, she got different baby fathers. So the problem is her, not the man down the street that need a vasectomy. No.
Yeah, I agree, because sometimes women with that many children, you end up dating someone who may not have any children at all. So why would he get a vasectomy?
Exactly.
I don't have any children. Here it is. I'm having a child with her. Prime example. I look at my son. He got with somebody who had 3 kids, and he had none. Then he ended up having one with her. But why would he get a vasectomy when he had no children?
Exactly. Or even if he's have 1 or 2, he might want more in the future. But
bingo.
But if you having multiple, if you're a woman, you are having multiple children with different baby daddies, you the problem.
Oops.
I agree.
Exactly. And not only that, when you talk about in a relationship, your relationship tells you how many children you want to have. Because
all you have to do is look at your budget.
Like your budget and then your relationship. If y'all can't get along,
with
then
one,
you know that there's gonna be a train wreck. Don't bring a whole bunch of passengers along with you. Everybody don't have to experience the train wreck. So stop somewhere in there. It's like some of us, and I'll speak for myself. We get in this relationship. We know. I knew when I got married the first time, I said, I ain't having no, and yes, he did have a vasectomy, because I wasn't having no more children with him. You are not father candidate. Okay. Now, did I try to help him along? Did I try to coach him into being in this child's life? I did it all. He just wasn't it. So I wasn't gonna go and have no more babies by him, and he didn't want to be a father of the one that he had. Right. That's crazy. But again, then we get mad and we like, oh, well, these poor these men, they just don't want to take no. Sometimes, and I agree, we need to also take responsibility too. Now, going back to men, because this is men who want to be in their children's life, because you have a lot of men that want to be in their children's life. They want to be a father.
Yes.
They don't want to get a vasectomy. They want to be a father.
And they
We
don't want the baby mama.
allowing ourselves to interfere with that. If there's a breakup, then let him be the man. Let him be
That's
the
right.
father. If he
That's right.
brings another person into his life, let him decide whether or not, because he's still responsible for those children. You don't need to step in and be like, well, what's going on? What's she saying? What's she doing? It's none of your business. Let him. He knows what kind of person needs to be in his children's life. If you allow him to be a parent, you don't have to. And I'm talking about someone who has been. I'm in a relationship with a man who has children. Now his children are grown, but the bottom line is those are his children. And if those are his children, hey, listen. Those your children. I can't tell you how to maneuver. I can, if you ask me, then I can recommend. But bottom line is those are your children. And we don't have a right to tell the other parent how to parent their child. Stay out of it. Let the man be the man. If he want to take his children, he want to have custody, and he's got the money, he's got the funds, he's got the house, he's got the personality, he's got the love. Let that man raise his son.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know the saying, I don't know if y'all parents said it or y'all came across this, but I remember being a young mother and coming across a guy that I like, and his mother said, I don't want you dating that girl. She got an already made family. Let me tell you something. That killed me at that time. But let me tell you something. I feel every word of that today. I totally agree. Because, baby, what we talking about today, I am not finna go through it with somebody else's children.
Right. Yes.
So I totally understand. A lot of stuff that didn't make sense back then makes sense today. Now that I don't have any grandkids at this time, and God may bless me with some in the future, but I can tell you one thing I don't want. My children have an already made family. It makes sense now. I can tell you that now. And I'm probably going to get hit hard with that one, but
trust me. Because the thing is, I look, it is what it is, because I ran them away. You gotta go. No, we this is, see, what people don't realize is this is an investment. Your children are an investment. And I did not invest in you so you can go and throw your life away for somebody who just want to have multiple kids because she don't have nothing else better to do. No, it's an investment. And this is where we feel like we don't have anything to say, but we do. These are our children. And the thing, and this goes back to something Derek said. He said we need to allow these young people be men and women, raise them to be good young men and women, because they are so missing it. If you with a man that has a child, you should be encouraging him to be a father. Yeah. Don't just be a girl to be, you got
That's right. That's good.
you got a kid. Well, how often do you see your child? Maybe 2-3 times a year. No, sir. If you're not an active parent, you cannot be and you're not ready to be an active boyfriend, husband, or anything, because you need to actively be in your child's
It's very
life.
true.
And talking about that, because we did teach our children, we was like, if you can help it, and the reason why, because from experience, we said don't get with somebody who has children. Okay, we taught all 3 of our children that. However, our middle child, not only did she have 1, not only did she have 2, 3. Okay, so he takes care, and then she had the 4th one, which is the first 3, they have the same dad. And then she has my KK, who is Jacob's daughter. But he is helping to raise her children.
Okay.
Now, he does more for the children than their own dad does.
See, that's why you don't get to heaven before I do, Pastor Mel, because see, my nerves will be shot to pieces. I just can't do it. I can't do that. It's too much.
No. We teach our children, we told them,
Yeah.
But all you can do is train them up in the ways that they should go. When they make decisions, guess what? you don't say I told you so, but it's like, this is what we were trying to prevent you from. And
Yeah.
and it's living proof. I mean, we're watching it right before our eyes, and it's like, what are you doing? Oh, they're doing schoolwork. I'm getting them up for school. I'm making sure they do this. I'm making sure they do that. And it's like, wow. But
Yeah.
it is. But even when he got with her, it was like that. So
Do you know I won't even, and I probably could have been married by now and don't miss my blessing. If a man got kids under the age of 18, go back. My nerves, you got to understand the ages of my kids. They're 22, 31, and 32. So I need that child of the guy that I'm with to be able to drive themselves, fix their own sandwich, fry their own whatever. I don't need to hear the little footsteps. I'm hungry. My nerves are shot to pieces. I'm done raising kids.
Well, I'm gonna say this: even when my children were younger, I did not want the responsibility to raise somebody else's children. I,
yep.
I just didn't.
Yep.
I wanted to raise my own. I was doing a decent job in raising my four, but I just did not want to go through the um the stuff with the ex. I just didn't. And I broke my rule, and Lord behold, it was terrible. It was
Yeah.
like that person was totally quiet until we said I do. And then she kicked in for it. And I said, I broke my rule. And I never wanted the responsibility to have to deal with that, because it is hard. It really is, because you have the drama that comes in with that, and that's not right. And so again, this is a great topic, guys. I see that Dr. Bennett, she probably had a client, and Dr. Isaac had to drop off. But we've been talking about drama mama, and is it really about the children? This has been such an awesome show. We thank all of our viewers and all of their comments. But unfortunately, we are almost 15 minutes over. I'm sorry, Pastor Tito. But we do have to go. But you have been watching Breaking the Silence, and I am your host, Lady V. You have host Pastor Melanie, and you have Silvadia, and you have our special guest. I don't know, he's not a guest anymore, but Reverend Jay. And it has been such an awesome time, guys. But we do have to say goodbye. But we do come on every single Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we have some really great topics that we bring to the table. So we want you to share our page. I do look at the comments that people get an opportunity to make, and we appreciate it, because we had so many viewers these last couple of weeks. I was like, wow, with a lot of comments. So we do want you to stay tuned, share our page, feel free to make comments. We don't feel some type of way after the show, because you know what?
Right.
We want everybody who watches this show, because this is what this show is about, that you do have a voice. And we say that with all honesty, whether we agree or not. We don't have to agree with everything that everybody says, but on Breaking the Silence, you do have a voice. So until next week, we want you to be blessed and have a good evening. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Take care.
Good night.